Okay, so this video is going to be in depth. It's going to be triggering, and it has to do with passing down of negative energy. So, and the female version, from mother to daughter to. Anyway, so there has been huge amount of like loathing, kind of spiteful, jealous, petty, just a whole lot of negative energy. So, specifically, I don't know about my Nona's mother, but I can only imagine there were a few things my grandmother had told me about the situation, how she lost her father, what happened with that, what transpired with that. Anyway, so the amount of resentment, that's the word, the amount of resentment, I can just see, even the way my grandmother treated my own mother, I could just see that, if you can picture it with me now, that raised chin, tilted head, raised lip, and just look of absolute disgust, or like seeing somebody as not worthy, watching them struggle, and just looking at them like they are just worthless and not worthy of any sort of sympathy or respect or love, or just that hatred within themselves that was projected onto them, passed down. And I can just see the slight, the petty sort of, what is that word? That literal, like, resentment for a person's existence, even if they've done nothing wrong. And the more that that person excelled. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but my own mother, she had so many gifts, talents, and abilities, like gymnast in there, and scuba diver, and artist, and sewer, and loved to sing, and loved to dance. And my mother herself was a star. And my father, who was a musician, very fucking talented, who had the ability to write and create lyrics and picture like an architect within his own mind, like create like a magician, manifester, you name it. He was himself a star. And both of these two have been they were treated a certain way, which turned them. They were literally spun to hate themselves, even though that is not true. They never should have hated themselves. And that hate my own grandmother had, which was probably projected onto her, she passed that to my mother. And I can just see, I've caught glimpses of it. As I got older, I started to see the mask fall. I caught glimpses of my grandmother when she is in that that ugly energy. And she had this thing about kind of like chewing on a toothpick or chewing on food or whatever's in her mouth, and just that absolute energy of hate and disgust towards another human being. I can just imagine that on top of any of the jealousy or hate or envy she had projected from other people in the family, especially her sisters. She had two sisters. can almost imagine like the whole idea of like maybe not stepmother, but the wicked mother and the two sisters almost idea. But now this is not to say that even her sisters didn't have their own issues dealing with the projections from their mother, my grandmother. And it's not to look at each of these individuals as any less. It's not to judge them, but the energy that was passed to me, oh, let me tell you, that's some thick ass fucking molasses shit. That is some hatred and jealousy and envy and spite and resentment and absolute disgust for a person's existence. And if they were to thrive at all, or to glow, or to shine, or to succeed in any way, or to even just acknowledge their own value or worth, that energy, how heavy it is to just want to rip that from somebody, that is the sort of energy that has been passed down to me, that's been projected to me. I chose, when I was 16, I told myself I would never, ever have children. I made a vow to myself that I would never have children. And it's really sad because I never, ever wanted to pass that down to a child. I wanted to make sure that if I ever had a child, I was fully healed from this sort of thing, because never, ever would I want to project that onto another living human being, because I wasn't healed, or because I didn't learn the lesson, or because I didn't see what it was that was passed to me, that was forced onto me to carry. Now, because I realize and I'm cognitively aware, I made the choice not to carry that, but that is still something that I have to fully comprehend and understand. That amount of pain that was passed from one to the other to the other. No lesson was learned there. I made a choice, because it's free will, to stand up and break that cycle. But to have to embody that and to go into that and to see how much the people before me, my mother, her mother, and so on and so forth, to embody that and fully understand the amount of pain, the amount of suffering, the amount of torment and torture that they've went through, that they were just not able to break past, that they were just not able to shake or to understand fully, because they weren't taught how. They weren't taught how to understand that, how to manage those emotions, how to realize that almost most of that was placed onto them was not even theirs to carry. They weren't shown how to heal from that. I myself am struggling. I struggled with it just to even understand it, and how painful it was to forgive, but also to realize my own worth and value, so that I didn't have to redo that cycle, so that I didn't have to pass that on to another, so that I didn't have to suffer anymore. And it's really unfortunate that those that were in my life have made certain decisions, either to not advance forward, to not heal, to not acknowledge, or even look at some of those things because of the pain, because of how painful it is. And I often forget, with as far as I've made it, I often forget how fucking hard it's been. I have been a fucking warrior for so long. I have been so tough for so long that I totally forgot how difficult this journey has been. Even when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, yeah, it was hard, but I managed through it, right? But I don't fully see it, how other people may find this near impossible to get through. And only now, sitting here talking about this right now, am I even trying to wrap my head around how difficult it must be for other people to break free from that prison. It's literally a prison in the mind. And other people will have you stuck in that as well, that are in their own prison. And they will try to drag you down and bring you back into that, or set you up some way to have you fail, or to put you back in behind bars mentally. Because that's what it is. It's a mental prison. I don't want to be there. I've done my healing. People will still continue to try to take from me, but what I was born with, the gifts that I have, I'm not going to take them for granted. I am truly grateful for everything I have. And it's not even the physical stuff. It's not. And with me posting these videos, with me putting things up there for other people, even when it comes to me doing stuff that I love or sharing certain things, I have to remind myself that it's a trigger for other people to see another person succeed, or to see another person do well, or to see them flourish in any way, because it is a difficult journey. It's very hard. It takes a lot of self-discipline. It takes a lot of cheerleading yourself forward when nobody else will do it. I'm asking you right now, if you don't have a support system, please do everything possible to lift yourself up and remind yourself, even if you have to talk yourself into it, and just remind yourself how far you've come, how far you've made it, what you're grateful for, the things that you've learned that you never have to repeat again. Because you've learned the lessons, just remind yourself how fucking special you are, how important you are, how valued you are. Because honestly, your energy alone, you supporting yourself and you pushing yourself forward and being there for yourself, that energy is helping other people too. If I can do one thing, is to remind you, don't give up on yourself. Don't abandon yourself, even if other people have abandoned you. It's not a personal thing. They're not doing it purposely to hurt you. They are hurt themselves, and they don't know how to get out. They don't know how to find a way out. So they can't help you. That's why they're not there for you. So you need to be able to do that for yourself.